we're going to get you from this room where you're at today to where you want to be in 2021 and for the rest of your life, the goals you want to accomplish. Tell us what you want to accomplish, and then we'll reverse engineer. And so you think about it for a minute, and you're like, man, okay, here's what I want. 3 things. I want virtually everyone in the world to know my name, to know something about me. And then, number 2, I want my teaching to be universally seen as excellent, as profound, as incredible. And then number 3, I want, say, 2 or 3 of the greatest, biggest major civilizations on the earth to base their civilizations around my teaching. All right, guys, how do I do that? Reverse engineer. Not only is that a daunting task, not only is that an impossible task, but you might begin to think, okay, how do we blow this guy up? How do we make him viral? What does he have to do to achieve this end? And the last thing anybody would say is, I think that you should be born in total obscurity. You should stay outside of any major networks of economic, social, political, or spiritual power. You should be poor, should grow up in a common house, the son of a carpenter. And just as you begin your public career, you should get executed as a criminal. And because of that, you will have a global influence and everyone will know your name. Here's the point of what I'm trying to get across. A shoot, a little itty bitty shoot from the stump of Jesse is going to bear fruit. We can have peace this season because God keeps his promises. Nothing about that makes sense apart from the fact that it was God fulfilling his promises. You can't engineer this. You can't design this. You can't figure this out. In all of our wisdom and intelligence and all of our strategy and planning and all human might, we cannot have the kind of impact that Jesus had in 3 years of public ministry in the outskirts of a tiny little nation and a tiny little part of the world, and now he is globally known. His teaching is seen by everyone as profound, and civilizations and peoples look to him. He is the branch. I love the way my Old Testament professor, Tim Mackey, he does the Bible Project, and if you're watching this online, as soon as you're done here, look up Bible Project. They got such great stuff. And so he was my Old Testament professor in seminary, and one of the themes that he talked about, and you can see this running throughout the Old Testament, but certainly in the book of Isaiah, is what he called branch man, because out of the stump of Jesse will come a branch. And this theme, this picture that Isaiah is beautifully painting in our imagination, branch man, will then be a sign and signal for all the nations. So we're going to keep an eye on branch man because God's going to do some pretty incredible things through him. In fact, you'll see him continually popping up in the book of Isaiah. In Isaiah 61, he pops up again. And it's interesting because in Isaiah 61, it says, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me because the Lord has anointed me to preach good news. And you're like, man, this branch man's amazing, right? He's gonna be this descendant of King David. He's going to be this everlasting king. We'll see in a moment the Spirit of the Lord is going to be upon him and anoint him. And what's interesting is that when Jesus begins this ministry that we just talked about, that's going to have global significance, that we still know his name, the very first sermon he preaches, he goes to synagogue, everyone's hanging out. He says, give me the Isaiah scroll. He opens it up, and you would think, like, here's 6 points to be a better person or blah, blah, blah. And he looks at Isaiah 61, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me. And he says, today, this scripture has been fulfilled in your hearing. He is locking himself in, saying, I'm branch man. I'm the fulfillment of the promises. This is me. The time has come. God keeps his promises. Every single one of them. God keeps his promises. And so this can provide us hope because we know that God is a God of his word. This can provide us peace because we know that even though we don't know how our lives might turn out, we know the big picture.